So we're going to continue working with our naked sewing machine here because it actually gives you a really lovely visual of the shank, which is this rod here. So the shank will move up and down to create movement of the needle, and what you'll find attached to it is a needle clamp. Okay, so this is a mechanism that holds your needle in position. Now, sewing machine needles need to be changed regularly. So I implore everybody to make sure they're changing their sewing machine needle sort of at least at the beginning of every project, and to practice doing it, because it's not as scary as you think. So the needle is held in position normally by a screw, which is held on quite tightly. Now, in your sewing machine kits, you might come across something that looks a little like this. This is actually a screwdriver, and will allow you to quickly release that screw. Not all machines will have this. Sometimes you might find a slightly smaller, more sort of general screwdriver in your kit, but these are just particularly useful because it means that you don't have a handle that you have to navigate. So I'm just going to unscrew this, and you'll see that the needle's starting to release. So it's always a good idea when you're unscrewing to make sure you're holding the needle in position. But if you are particularly nervous about dropping it into the machine, then please put a piece of fabric between your presser foot and the needle itself. So when you remove the needle, most sewing machines will take needles that have a flat bit on the shank of the needle, and that will sit at the back of the machine. There's only one way these needles can go into your sewing machine, so it's quite hard to get it wrong, and needles are, generally speaking, universal in length. There's only one way you can put a sewing machine needle into your machine, and that's to basically make sure that you minimize any risk of it not going in properly. It's really important to make sure it's at the very, very top. So if it's not, what happens is there will be a misalignment between your needle eye and your bobbin case, and it will hit, and sometimes it will snap the needle. So it's really important you make sure that your needle is sitting nice and firmly at the very top of your needle clamp. The other thing you need to make sure is that this screw is nice and tight, because if it's not tight enough as you're going through the motion of sewing, because this clamp goes up and down very, very, very quickly, it will loosen the needle and it might end up just dropping out. So again, and that will damage and it will snap your needle. So we just need to make sure that that's lovely and secure and nice and tight. The eye of the needle will always be positioned in line with the flat bit of the shank. So again, there's very little risk of it not being put in properly.